New player experience is something that is always a big topic with free-to-play games. Basically, they want players to play as much as possible, but at the same time, their end goal is to make players pay money for cosmetics, or champions, or whatever sort of goods they have in their games. However, they need those free-to-play players to stick around and to play as long as possible, and to also have some sort of achievement or something to keep them sticking around, as they are the ones that are going to be playing against the paid players. Often games have some sort of grind, getting items, experience, unlocking characters, unlocking zones, unlocking game types for those free players, and maybe some of those will be able to be paid for by the paid players. Often this balance can be the difference between a game being universally praised and being called pay to win. At the moment, Paladins is in a relatively good place. At the moment, you unlock champions with the gold in game that you can earn by playing the games. You can also unlock the cards, and these can give different abilities and buff different abilities within the characters and give different properties to how you play. However, these cards aren't necessarily direct upgrades, and the default card set, the deck, isn't necessarily worse than, like, objectively worse than a deck that a player that has all the cards unlocked will make. At the moment, there are some cards that are better than others and are almost integral in a lot of the builds that people make, but that's not really the fault of the developers, and if you actually want to unlock those cards, if you know about them, then it won't take you very long to get them, if you see what I mean. And the other one is the unlocking champions. You have to use the in-game gold to unlock those champions to play them, but the champions again aren't necessarily better or worse than each other, they just have different properties, and the balance is a horizontal one. And in free-to-play games, this is important to uphold because it means that a new player won't have a disadvantage against a paid player. Again, there are some disadvantages, like with the cards and not having the full loadouts and not having all the champions, so you can't react all the time in games, getting the right situation for the right character or getting the right situation for the right build, but they're close enough. And in the game, the cards that you can buy in the item shops are completely reliant on your gameplay inside the game. You can currently buy XP boosts and gold boosts, which could let you buy the cards and the characters quicker, but again, at the core, it's still the fact that the cards aren't necessarily better or worse than each other. So in that end, I wouldn't say Paladins at the moment is anywhere close to pay to win, even if it has some elements that can give players that pay for everything a little bit of an advantage. But with that all out of the way, and sort of the concept of pay to win and free to play games and how they sort of have to balance time sinks versus their actual paid content, I want to talk about what they're trying to implement at the moment, which is making me a little bit frustrated that they're still going ahead with this, even with the feedback that they got on the last video that they made. So they want to make it so that you can put in points onto the cards, and to do this, you use in-game gold. Now again, in-game gold is mostly earned through playing the game, but also you can get those XP boosts which are paid for by real money. What they've said isn't necessarily bad, like they want to have basically stats on each card, basically improve flatly damage or HP or something like that. But what they want to do is balance it so that some of the cards at the moment, which people are always picking, have lower stats than some cards that have maybe less impact in the game, but need to have those stats to bring them back in line. But the stats on those cards will have a low original stat count, and then you'll upgrade those with the in-game gold to level them up. And this is where I don't like the concept of the idea, which I feel that is going to give an advantage to players that have played for a long time and players that pay money and unlock everything quicker and have more gold in their stockpiles. If there is an unlock system where you put in points, it isn't horizontal anymore. You put in a number of points, and that is a vertical, top-down system of unlocks. And some players that have put in all the time, they've got the money, they've bought all the cards already, they've upgraded their cards, have a better chance than the people that don't have these. Not only is it giving an advantage to players that have played for longer and have put money into the game, it's another confusing aspect to the card system that I just think is unnecessary. If they keep the flat stats to add to the cards, I think that could be interesting, I think that could work. But I don't really want this system where you can put money onto the cards and level them up. I think the problem with these sort of implementations is if this gets put in now, it's going to be very hard to get it out of the game later on. And personally, the Achilles heel of free-to-play games is being called pay-to-win and putting people off from playing because there are these pay-to-win aspects. And this is putting the foot in the doorway of the pay-to-win sort of realm. Even though you can grind it out and it can be a time sink, it's also going to benefit most the players that pay money and have everything unlocked already or have the founders packs. And Paladins isn't a game where you're in like an RPG or like a massively multiplayer setting where everybody's got different levels of skill and everything like that. You're playing 5v5 in very competitive matches, and you need to know that your enemies haven't got an unfair advantage over you because it's a very competitive, very fast-paced rounds and very horizontal at the moment, and that horizontal balance is really important not to be disturbed, because we know at the moment that players may have different builds and loadouts and they're not necessarily better than each other, but they achieve different ends, and maybe certain combinations of those work better, which is what in MOBA games is often the case. Like you have different combos and that's interesting, but having just when you go into the game a bonus just flatly basically just for how long you've played or how much money you put into the game is not a good thing. Basically, I just want to vent my frustration at this, and hopefully they don't go forward with it. The flat increase on the stats adding to the cards might be interesting in varying the cards and making some more important, but I really don't want them to go forward with this gold sink. I think the ideas they said about the cosmetics and things like that were good, but this one is awful. I'm just putting it out there that I really hope they don't put this in. Either way, this was all on a dev Q&A which was just streamed and made me really frustrated, so I thought I'd make a video rather quickly. Anyway, what does everyone else think about this? Do you agree with the fact that this is going to be another just one step too far in making the new player experience a bit annoying and making the fact that there's sort of like a tiered system of who's getting an advantage? And especially when the people that play the most really don't need the advantage because they're going to be the better players, which is annoying, and just this whole thing is rather annoying for me. Anyway, thank you for watching, subscribe if you want to see more of my content, like or dislike as you see fit. Until next time everybody, Joshino.